Hello, everyone, and welcome back to RCRC. That is the Relationship Connection with Ronald and Charlie. I am Charlie Willis, a mental health therapist.
I'm Ronald Willis, a marriage and family therapist, and today, Charlie, we continue our exciting episode where we're talking about attachment styles.
Okay.
All right, so if you watched the episode from last week, we're going to show you a skit and see can you identify this attachment style. Watch this clip, y'all.
Hey, didn't know you were home. When'd you get in?
Yeah, I made it to the house, Charlie. I know to come home every day this time.
Going up during inflation. We thought we
Okay.
prices down. So
Anyway,
we brought in a reverse
watch a movie.
auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
I'll order something to eat. Sit here and watch a movie. Spend some quality time together.
Can I spend some quality time with myself? I just got home from work, Charlie. This is what I do. I work, I come home, I relax.
Right.
Watch a little bit of TV.
You turn it down? I mean, it's not even necessary. I mean, we don't spend no time together.
We do spend time together, Charlie. We live in the same house. How can we not be spending time together?
Well, no, because you come home every day from work. Come home, you come in here, you sit down, look at TV, and half the time I don't even know you made it in. You don't say nothing.
What, I got to advertise when I come home? What is a television show? Honey, I'm home. Man, that's not for real. Come on, Charlie. You know what time I get home from work?
Ronald, we never spend any time together.
We do spend time together, Charlie. Come on, man. I'm around here paying the bills. I'm working hard and stuff. We got cars, house, boats. Well, we don't have a boat. But anyway, we got stuff. You got a trustworthy man. I'm faithful. What more do you want from me? Come on.
Ronald, a relationship is more than that. It's more than...
Yeah, a relationship is about me coming home, relaxing after a hard day from work, and not my wife nagging me about spending time with her. Come on, man. Maybe we're going on a date 2 weeks from now. How about that?
2 weeks from now.
We can't go on a date every week.
All right, Ronald. All right. I'm going to let you get your me time in. Matter of fact, take 2 weeks to get your me time in. Think about it.
All right, hope y'all enjoyed that clip about attachment style. But what was the attachment style in the clip, Charlie?
But before we talk about it, we are here to equip, empower, and educate couples on how to thrive in their relationships through candid conversations right here on this platform.
That's right. And don't forget to help support this ministry. We're making a contribution to our Cash App at First Focus Faith. And if you watch my YouTube, like, comment, share, subscribe. Do it all, Charlie, because we need it all.
That is right. And if you want to learn more about us, check us out at our website, which is firstfocusfaith.com.
All right, so let's go back to the clip. What attachment style was that? Now, if you were watching our previous episode, you should have been able to identify that attachment style. So the attachment style is avoiding attachment style. I was avoiding Charlie. I really didn't care about spending time with her, and I'm coming home come home unannounced, and I'm just trying to go into my own little place and get my little QT by myself because I'm really not trying to spend time with her. I actually want to be with her, but I'm not trying to attach myself with her because I like being alone better than I like being with her.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine. You okay with that, Charlie?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a flashback.
Flashback.
So,
I hope that's not fine.
All right. It's not fine.
Right. So definitely for this week, we want to recap from last week, and then we want to move forward and want to talk about the third attachment style under the insecure umbrella, which is disorganized. And then we're going to talk about the most important thing is how do we get secure?
All right. So last week we talked about the 4 styles, which are anxious, avoidant, disorganized, and secure. Also, let me go ahead and put out the scripture, our famous scripture we often quote and love, Genesis 2:24, which it says, "Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother, he shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh."
And that's right. And last week we kind of highlighted cleave and what is cleave, Charlie?
What is cleave? Exactly what the scripture says, for him to leave the parents and be one with his wife.
That's right. And part of that cleaving is to attach, right? And we talked about it last week. There are 2 attachment styles. One is insecure and the other is secure. And insecure has 3 attachment styles, like Charlie said, anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. So when we attach, we want to attach in such a way that we're secure with the attachment and not insecure with attachment, because ultimately an insecure attachment does not cause you to cleave and connect. It does not.
It does not. Okay.
Right. So if you want to know more about that, go to our previous episode and you can watch that show. However, for this week, we're going to move forward, y'all.
All right, let's move forward. The one of the other thing that I want to remind our viewers is that these types of disorders, attachment styles, form in our childhood before 18 months.
Okay. That's important to know.
And it's a product of our environment, how we were raised.
In other words, you get it from your mama and your daddy. All right. So let's talk about this disorganized attachment style, which falls under the umbrella of being insecure.
All right. So just like I said, if it's formulating in your childhood, the disorganized, this is what's going to happen. This is what the parent does, and it becomes a reflection, a product of the child. So 1, they may not meet the child's basic needs.
Wow, that is huge to understand, because the child has some basic needs, right? And the parent may be too involved with something else is going on in life. They may be distracted in such a way. Maybe they got a job they got going to and stuff, right? And so some of the basic needs get left out and create a dysfunction and insecurity with that child early in their age.
That's right.
So definitely to understand this disorganized attachment style, one of the things that come from is the child's not getting the basic needs met. So what is the basic needs? Let's go there.
Our basic needs are our daily care, what we need. Bathing, food, water, which we call also ADLs, what we need to sustain life,
right,
on a day-to-day basis.
And then the other one is love. Probably the most important one that probably be left out when the child's not getting the basic need is love. Is the parent equipped to know how to love their kid, their child? Okay, so they could leave that out without even knowing that. Okay, and then of course they leave that out. They may have the disorganized attachments, disorganized attachment style.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. So the second thing you may see or a parent will do is the contrasting behaviors. Now, when I say this, I'm pretty much looking at a conflict. Things are not on a consistent basis. The reinforcement of the behavior is not given or taken away. Things are just not organized. That's why it was disorganized, of course.
That's right. Things are not organized in the home and stuff, right? Which create confusion for the child and stuff, and it create dysfunctional behavior because they don't know the difference between right and wrong because the parent is all over the place.
Right. We're just not sticking to what we say we're going to do.
Be consistent with what you are doing with your child. Okay. All right. So what's the next one?
So point 3 is they lack confidence in raising the child, and this could come from just not knowing,
right,
and not seeking.
Right, because normally no one teaches us how to be a parent. We get together and stuff. We have a child, but there's no teaching how to be a parent. And what we get is from our parents, and that parents can be right or wrong. We take that, and that's how we raise our who? Well, I can get the word child. I think I want to say child, kid, and I'm like trying to fight this battle. Should I say kid or should I say child?
Kid is a goat.
That's why I'm fighting the battle, man. Child, man. So definitely, they may not know how to. They may not feel confident. They may not have resources to go to and stuff. Perhaps they have a bad relationship with their own parents, so they don't go to their parents for help and support, and because of that, they lack confidence. And when they lack confidence, the child will receive that from them, creating this disorganized attachment style because the parent is lacking confidence in raising their child. And we kind of alluded to it earlier and stuff, right? Is a parent equipped to loving their child?
That's right. That's right.
If you're not equipped to love your child, you're gonna lack confidence.
All right. Yeah. All right. So the fourth point now here is preoccupied with self, and they're actually ignoring the child. This is common because we've seen it in the other attachment issues here. So it's a self. It's all about self. That just out for them and not doing for the child.
Right, and they sometimes a parent will have a child early, and they may be in this stage of their life where they don't understand that they need to move from being selfish to selfless, and they make it all about them. Maybe they're the type of parent that like to go out and party. Well, they're looking to go out and party. They're gonna leave the child with someone else to take care of the child and stuff while they're going out enjoying themselves because they may be at this young age and they still want to what they consider is join life and party and doing all these things and stuff, right? And when you're doing those things and stuff, right, the child is getting ignored. Your focus should not be going out and party, but your focus should be on taking care of the child. Okay? And you see it. You see it a lot.
You definitely do. All right, point 5 would be they're abusing drugs. Now, when I say this, you just want to think of the effects. If someone is abusing drugs around their child, how, again, you're preoccupied with self, obviously, but the child can see that and experience that, which is not good at that age. So think about what happens to them as far as attachment.
There is no attachment. And ultimately, when you are abusing drugs, you really going to the other points we made. If you're abusing drugs, that may be number one in your life, right? So you're not gonna be centered on your child, you're gonna be centered on drugs, okay? And definitely if you're centered on drugs, you're not gonna meet your child basic need. You're gonna have contrasting behavior, you're gonna lack confidence in raising a child because ultimately your thoughts is on the drugs. You may be addicted to the drugs and that's all you think about. And ultimately, someone may coming home like child care service and take your child away from you because you're abusing drugs. But it negatively affects the child in this attachment style. Okay.
Yes, definitely. Okay, our last point here, number 6 is they may have experienced or give physical, verbal, or sexual abuse to their child.
Yeah, this is
any of these types of abuse.
This is
will cause a detachment.
Is huge. Okay, because ultimately, there are situations that occurs with a child. We have no control of it, and especially when we're talking about sexually abuse. Okay, and it may not be the parent; it may be a uncle, or maybe someone else is close in the family that's creating this dysfunction in the child home. And ultimately, if a child gets molested, they increase the likelihood of having this disorganized attachment styles. So we saying it comes from the parents, but if you look at it wholeheartedly, it could come from someone outside of the home. You see this sometime where even a older sibling could do it. Okay, an uncle could do it.
Whatever it comes from,
wherever it comes from, and it really negatively affect the child in a negative way. And then sometimes when these things occur, especially when we talk about child molestation, right? On a subconscious level, when we become adults, sometimes we suppress it so much that we forget it happened, right? However, we're behaving in that way. And then as we continue to talk, this is why it's so important to seek treatment so you can pull back the layers so you can identify why I am acting this way. And sometimes pulling back the layers will cause you to remember something that on the subconscious level you have suppressed and forgot about. Oh man, how could I forget that I was molested? Because it's so painful on a subconscious level, you automatically suppress it, which creates this platform where you can forget about it, but it's still affecting you
Right.
because you're emotionally injured.
Yes, definitely. And it does in some way bring shame and guilt to the
All
child
that
or
stuff.
the person who's now an adult. And that may be one reason why added to the suppression and not speaking about it.
That's
Okay.
right.
And
That's
not
right.
seeking help. So next point is, so how is the person who has been affected, the child now an adult or what have you, how
How they
would
gonna
they
behave in their
react?
relationship,
Yes,
man.
yes. All
They're gonna
right.
receive all these things from their family members.
Mm.
So now they're an adult. Is how they're gonna behave in the relationship.
All right. So the first point here is the child will feel unsafe because their needs are not being met. Now, could that be from a child to an adult?
Right, because when the child feels unsafe because their needs are not being met, they're gonna bring that into the relationship. Okay, they're not gonna feel safe in their relationship because they come from a foundation of needs not being met. And the other thing, they don't know how to get the needs are met, and they may get confused and do things that they think will get their needs met, but ultimately it will not.
Right.
You know, for example, one of my needs is to be loved, right? So then I'm seeking people to love me, but that is not an effective way to do it. You instead of instead of expecting people to love you, you go to God to love you, so you can love yourself.
Right.
And then when you love yourself, then you equip to love others. Because love does not come from people; love comes from God, and we have to
Yes.
understand that. So when you out there trying to get people to love you, you're gonna always fall short because that's not where love comes from.
Okay. It's a mouthful there. All right. So the second point here is the child may fear their parents.
Right. So
It's just like not a normal fear either. It's just
right. It's like if you've been physically abusive to your child, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And let's say one of the things that you would do to be physically abusive, maybe hit them upside the head or something like that, right? And so this will create a fear for them when they see that kind of reaction going on. They may jump before you hit them because they think you finna hit them right now because they associate that with that behavior. Okay, and you may like, why is my child jumping? Because they scared of you because you've been physically abusive to them. And they'll take that fear and bring it into their relationship, which can create anger issues in the relationship because they don't know how to deal with the fear.
Right.
So anytime they are threatened in any kind of way, they will automatically get angry because they don't like that feeling.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely can see that. All right. So point number 3, they will have a challenge with sharing their feelings. So from a child to an adult, you'll see this pattern where if you're in a relationship with someone who has been affected by this, they don't really share their feelings. What's really going on with them?
Right, because they probably don't understand their feelings because they come from this attachment style of disorganized. So they don't understand their feelings. And therefore, if I do not understand my feelings, I'm gonna have a challenge with expressing something I do not even understand.
Right.
Hey, what is feelings? How it is to express feelings, I don't know because what I experienced as a child was contrasting behavior. Or maybe I experienced physical or verbal abuse. Maybe there's some molestation going on. Maybe I was feeling unsafe. And when these things occur, I can't connect with my feelings. I don't know how to.
Right. All right. So point number 4, they will focus on the negative. Now, is this just like a negative person, negative who remains negative and everything?
Well, basically, their childhood is consisted of negative things, right? So when you come from this environment, you're gonna bring that into your relationship because that's all you know. You don't know things that are positive in your relationship. You don't know what that looks like because your parents did not give that to you, or your family members did not give that to you. So ultimately, your focus is on what you know, and what you know is negative things. So you bring that into the relationship, and therefore it'll create dysfunction and discord in a relationship because of the way you are thinking in the relationship based on your past.
Right. Okay, number 5, which is a big one here, they will have anger issues, and that has to be the root of something. People walking around just angry all the time, anything ticks them off. There's a root cause to it.
Yeah, because we talked about that the child basic needs will not be met, and one of the major basic needs is not being met is love. Okay, and the lack of love to your child will create the anger issue when they become an adult, because they won't have that secure feeling they need be able to protect themselves. The Bible says love protect us, and if I don't have love, I don't have the protection, and therefore I'm always looking at things in a threatening way, and therefore whenever I am threatened, I will get angry, and it doesn't take much, because ultimately I don't have the love to protect myself.
Right. All right. So point number 6 kind of falls in with 7. These two are kind of fall together. So the person may lack personal boundaries, and they may be distrustful.
That's right, because think about what they received.
Right.
They received this dysfunctional behavior that wasn't consistent, and therefore, if I get consistent behavior as a child, when I become an adult, I'm not going to know anything about boundaries because I never saw it.
Right.
Boundaries, what is that? I don't know. Okay, and ultimately stuff, right? You for yourself, you gotta have personal boundaries, because you cannot allow people to treat you any kind of way. You got to have those things going on in your life. But however, if you don't see that as a child, when you become an adult, you're not going to know anything about that.
All right. So last point here, we'll combine these together as well. Number 7 here is going to be a strong sense of independence.
Don't need you.
I can do it myself, and they will like being alone.
That's right. If I don't need you, I'm okay with being alone. Okay.
Yeah.
Because guess what? I was alone growing up. Okay. My parents all over the place. My parents was abusive. I was scared of my parents. So definitely, getting in a relationship, I'm okay with that, because that's a comfort zone for me.
Yeah, you've already adapt to being alone. Already adapt to that way of living. So with all that being said, the question now is
what to do,
and how do we be secure in ourselves to move forward, and in a relationship or just in life in general, and be well. Okay. So we're going to give you a few points here, of course. So the first one here is actively working on your relationship with yourself.
Yeah, understand who you are and understand your weakness, identity, your strength. Yeah. Okay, understand those things, and when you understand those things and be aware of, you can work on them things, because you got to understand that, and for you to be in a relationship and it's functional, you have to love self. You can't love others if first you don't love yourself. You can't love yourself if you don't go out and get the love from God. Okay, have a relationship with God so He can equip you to love self. Once you equip to love self, then you can love others.
Right.
Okay?
That's a part of building up your self-esteem, indeed. Okay. All right. The second point here is being able to express your needs and regulate your feelings.
Wow, that is huge to understand, because it goes back to what we talked about, what the child received, and they all of a sudden they have this lack of boundaries about self. So definitely, if I'm lacking personal boundaries, I'm not gonna be able to express my needs and feelings. So definitely, I want to get an understanding that these are the things I need to do in order to be secure itself. Right. Being able to express my needs, being able to regulate my feelings, and not allowing the other person respond stop me from doing these things, because it helps me to feel better about myself and more secure when I can express my needs, and then my partner can understand who I am and where I'm coming from and how they can interact in the relationship that creates a positive and functional relationship.
Yes. All right. So the third point here, and we talked about it, we touched on it again, establishing your boundaries, healthy boundaries, so you can move forward. Okay. Point number 4, work on healing the past negative experiences in therapy.
This is huge and probably the biggest one of all, because we have an understanding that attachment styles come from the past. So if it comes from the past, you got to work on the past. What things had occurred in the past that's negatively affecting you now as an adult. And as I mentioned earlier, that therapy is the place to go to be able to pull back the layers, because sometimes we go to this place of suppressing traumatic events and we forget about those things until we start talking about these things, and what we call the light bulb comes on.
Right.
Okay, so you cannot ignore your past. You don't live in your past. However, you have to move from your past by being aware of your past. Okay.
And be mindful that this means you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. That is a part of something that you need to help you grow in this. Moving past the things that you're afraid of and you're aware of, but you know you need to do it to heal. All right.
Right, because you may be comfortable with yourself now and stuff, right? And you may look at it, oh man, it's painful if I talk about my past. It's painful if I express my needs. So I'm not going to do that because I don't want to experience any kind of pain. It's comfortable like the place I'm at now and stuff, right? But sometimes you have to understand, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable in order to heal. Because the ultimate place we're trying to get to is heal from this emotional injury that you have received.
Right. Definitely. All right. So the next point here is you got to be able to forgive. Okay. And that forgiveness is not just, we're talking about somebody else. You got to be able to forgive yourself also.
Yeah, forgiveness starts with self.
We
It
often,
definitely
and
starts
we
with
often
self.
don't understand that point.
And forgiveness is healing.
Yeah.
You know, I said earlier, the emotional injury. And if you got an injury, you need to be healed. And forgiveness does that. Forgive yourself, forgive others. And if you experienced a traumatic event like physical abuse or child molestation, forgive that person.
Yes, forgive so you can move
Because
forward.
it hurts you if you do not forgive.
Right.
Forgiving will heal yourself and help you be secure with self. Okay.
Mhm.
So what about being able to empathize?
That is the last point that I'm
All
going
right.
to. The last point here is being able to emphasize. You're not gonna don't allow someone else's pain to be your pain. Okay, you want to understand your feelings and what you're going through.
Yeah, that is huge to understand because sometimes we gravitate towards someone else's pain, and now their pain is our pain. And empathize is not about that. It's understanding other people's feelings and not placing their feelings on you and vice versa. Allow someone else to have their feelings, and you understand that the feeling exists, not necessarily why the feeling exists. So it helps you to connect with someone in a secure, intimate way when you can empathize with others and understanding how they are feeling. And it opens the door for trust to come in,
Yes.
understanding to come in and stuff, right?
Mhm.
We can connect. Now we can attach in a healthy way and not attach in an unhealthy way that does not build this cleave and connect that we talked about.
All right, great, good point there. All right, so this kind of concludes this episode, both episodes wrapped together of what attachment styles look like and how they are developed. So if you found this to be great information, please, and if you have a question, please comment below and reach out to us and we'll respond back. Also, we'll keep this going and we'll see you next week with another exciting episode from RCRC, the Relationship Connection. Thank you for joining.
See you later.